Zoom CEO says that the company has been granting a significant amount of shares each year, which has led to a very high dilution, so it must proactively reduce the number of shares it issues. In an email to colleagues in 2010, YouTube's chief executive Neil Mohan suggested a strategy that involved buying a competitor and parking it. Threat actors can abuse the process to obtain fraudulently issued TLS certificates. Taste now defines how a product is perceived and felt, as well as how it is adopted. The shift away from permissive open source licensing has motivated the majority of Redis users to consider alternatives. Many are considering or testing Valkey, a fork of Redis managed by the Linux Foundation and backed by AWS, Google, Oracle, and others, that was prompted by the decision to switch licenses. Redis claims the decision to change licenses was made to prevent AWS and Google from charging for Redis in their database services without paying for it. It anticipated the fork, as it was exactly what Amazon did with Elasticsearch, but the company believes it is better for them to be able to innovate freely without the fear of its code being taken by cloud service providers and resold. This post provides a guide on how not to maintain an open source project, highlighting mistakes that open source projects make that discourage contributors from helping. These mistakes include using source control mechanisms other than Git, only accepting patches through email, requiring a contributor license agreement, ignoring detailed reports, and prioritizing features over bugs. Making it easier for people to contribute makes people more likely to want to contribute. Balaji Srinivasan is a serial tech entrepreneur and venture capitalist who believes that tech can do pretty much everything governments currently do, but better. His vision of a network state involves forming communities on the internet that acquire land and become physical countries with their own laws, existing alongside existing nation-states and eventually replacing them altogether. These network states would allow people to choose their nationality and become citizens of the state of their choice. This article looks at the network state movement and how it plans to replace governments with companies. This article looks at Jony Ive's work post-Apple and his plans for the future. Ive has quietly accumulated nearly $90 million worth of real estate on a single city block in San Francisco. The purchases began early in the pandemic when many tech luminaries were fleeing the city. He has turned the buildings into home bases for his projects, one for his agency's work on automotive fashion and travel products, and another for a new artificial intelligence device company he is developing with OpenAI. Meta smart glasses have succeeded where other AI wearables and smart glasses haven't, and even beyond Meta's own expectations. They're expensive, but affordable compared to an Apple Vision Pro or a Humane Pin, and they have good quality speakers, microphones, and cameras. The AI is sometimes finicky and inelegant, but it works in a natural way. The device easily slots into people's lives now, with no future software update to wait for. Qualcomm has approached Intel about a takeover in what could be one of the largest and most consequential deals in recent years. Intel is currently suffering through one of its most significant crises in its 5-decade history. Its shares have dropped roughly 60% so far this year. A deal is far from certain, and it will likely attract antitrust scrutiny. Microsoft has signed a major deal with nuclear plant operator Constellation Energy to buy power for its data centers from the energy company's 3 Mile Island Unit 1 nuclear plant. Constellation plans to spend $1.6 billion to revive the Unit 1 plant, which was shut down in 2019 due to a lack of demand for nuclear energy by 2028. Microsoft has agreed to purchase all of the power from the reactor, which promises a capacity of 835 megawatts once restored over the next 20 years. The plant is expected to create 3,400 direct and indirect jobs, add $16 billion to Pennsylvania's GDP, and generate more than $3 billion in state and federal taxes. AI will add value, but it will not result in an order of magnitude improvement in productivity and will not replace the need for software developers or high-level languages. The first automatic landing system was used in 1965. Now, nearly 60 years later, Brazil's Embraer, the world's third-largest aircraft manufacturer, is introducing a similar technology for takeoffs. The E2 Enhanced Takeoff System improves safety, range, and takeoff weight, allowing planes that use it to travel further. It enables planes to take off as early as possible and more steeply, without ever incurring a tail strike. Embraer has started flight testing the system with the aim of getting it approved by aviation authorities by 2025. WordPress co-creator Matt Mullenweg has criticized WP Engine for profiteering without giving much back, while also disabling key features.